Carlos City, California. You're listening to The Second Column with Joe, Mike, Carlos, and Sean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Second Column. I am joined this week by Mike Constantini. Hello, Mike. Sean Kearney is here as well. And we have our special guest, Ed Galvez. Hello, Ed. Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ed Galvez. So,
now, you might notice that Carlos is not here.
no Carlos.
It's actually his birthday on Monday, but he's doing an all-out birthday weekend. So right now he's debauching at some of his favorite underground
Nice.
LA clubs.
Is he actually out partying right now?
Oh, yeah. He's
I thought
with
he was
his
family.
friend Javier.
Oh, yeah. They're probably at, I know where
They're at some of their famous dark underlord
I know where they're
underground clubs around Los Angeles.
They're at those clubs that only exist for 10 minutes, and then they moved somewhere else.
Exactly.
It's a very classic.
It's the ones where, like, they don't even have liquor licenses, so it's sort of like in the days of Prohibition, where, like, if a cop comes in, they have a lever, and then all the fucking bottles just go down into, like, this gully.
Exactly, and it becomes a Petco.
It becomes a Petco.
Right, yeah, I know exactly how
I would imagine that Carlos would spend his birthdays in a Petco.
Yeah, he definitely
I'd be really bummed out if like my cat was starving. I was like, oh man, I have to go get
stupid speakeasy.
Yeah, and I was like, of course I would dance with you, Flapper. and then I come home with my newfound Flapper friend for a roll in
And
the
a hungry
hay.
kitty.
And then like my cat's dead because I'd been partying for the past like 48 hours.
It's so funny. Carlos not being here equals dead cat. For he's the defender of cats at all times. So I think there's some poetic justice to that. Ed Galvez is a great comedian. He performs all over Los Angeles virtually every night. He hits the road sometimes too. He's been all over California, and I know you've performed other places as well. But you do a lot of. He'll get to San Diego. He'll go up to Northern California, and a lot in LA. So Ed's going to join us today, and kind of the perfect guy for this topic because what I wrote about this week was an encounter I had at Trader Joe's, where I went to Trader Joe's and I made a purchase, and the checkout girl commented on my purchase, and she said it was delicious. And I said, "Oh, what kind of side dishes do you have with it?" And I'd bought a steak that was stuffed with spinach and feta cheese, and I said, "Well, what do you have with that?" And she was like stymied, like she had no response because clearly she had been trying to make small talk and was lying about how she had eaten the steak before, and I was like, just kind of like waiting, and there was a very strange moment between us where nothing happened, and finally she was like, baked potato. Okay, anyway, next stop. Like she totally skirted it. So I wrote a column this week and post on the site about just kind of dramatizing that moment, making it a little bit melodramatic. And perfect guy to have this week would be Ed Galvez. For not only is he a great comedian, he is also well versed in the craft service industry of Los Angeles.
Customer service.
Yes, food customer service. So Ed, there is a fine line between small talk and like engaging the customer, and it is a fine. You do have to watch what you say, right?
Yeah, well, all the time. I mean, by nature, I'm a friendly guy, I think.
Yeah.
But like a lot of times, like because I wait tables at a couple of places. I've been waiting tables for like 15 years. But there are times when like you go up to a table and you're just like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm expecting, or all I want is a fine, great, and okay. And then sometimes people, you'll say,
has anybody ever said sad?
Worse.
Oh no.
I've gotten like there'll be some old lady by herself, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" Not so good. We just got back from the UCLA Medical Center, and my husband's gonna be going any minute, and I just came out, and then they're like spilling, she's spilling her guts out to me, but then at the same time I've seen that I've been sat like 3 more times behind me, so I'm doing this like weird like concerned frowned forehead as I'm taking like baby steps backwards, and then I want to be there sort of because I'm there already, but at the same time it's like
you've got 8 tables to cover.
Yeah, I can't really explain the lady's dying husband to my other tables when they want their breadsticks.
Well, that's terrible. Do you want the cheesy fries?
So do you want to make that Belvedere martini a double?
It would only make sense.
So what you need is some good comfort food.
Awesome.
I do. I think that there's there's kind of an unspoken rule that when somebody starts small talk, you have to continue small talk.
Oh, Sean is a veteran of the waiting game from Red Lobster.
Yeah, and I had a similar experience where I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was on my lunch break. And so I was out on the patio eating, and I just said it to the guy just out of the goodness of my heart, not even trying to wait tables with the guy, just trying to make small talk because I was sitting in the same area as him. And I said, "Oh, hey, how's it going, man?" And he goes, "It's going pretty tough. I mean, it's just been crazy since my wife died," and entered into this whole story. And on the one hand, I felt bad for him. Then on the other hand, I felt bad that I didn't feel as bad as I should have.
Right.
But then on the other hand, I was like, fuck you. I'm on my lunch break. I asked you a basic question. On the worst day of my life, you could approach me and ask me how I'm doing, and I would go, I'm all right.
Yeah. No,
'Cause
exactly.
I don't want to bring it up there. It's not the time.
Do you
it's
ever
not
think
the
that
place.
they're lying and they just want to try to get a free meal?
Well, this guy didn't even have that. I mean, I kind of feel bad because I bet they do it because they don't have a lot of people to talk to.
think
which
that's
makes
part
me
of it.
feel like an asshole.
I think that's part of why people go to restaurants too.
Well, that's
when
why
they eat
people.
alone.
That's why people go to
Yeah.
bar. People.
Yeah.
People. They go to bars because you can talk to the bartender.
Yeah, and same reason you go to the restaurant. Maybe I've seen a lot. Well, I used to work in a diner in high school, and you would see a lot of just single tables, and they'd be older people, maybe even after church or something. And it was like, yeah, it gave them somebody to interact with, which is unfair to the guys who work there because that's not your job. You get like whatever $4 an hour plus tips, and you're not the psychotherapist of these folks, So yeah, you end up. I actually had a weird thing happen to me where I was at a Krispy Kreme donut. This is when I lived in Washington D.C. and it wasn't another customer. It wasn't a person who worked there. It was a customer. So I was sitting at like kind of this bar, kind of they have these stools. So I'm sitting there with my friend, and it's like 3 a.m, and we're eating donuts, and the hot sign's on, and it's delicious and great. And this guy sits next to me, and this is after I just shaved my head, and there was a lot of attention on my head for some reason. Like the 6 months after I shaved my head, like there was a lot of heat on my head. Like people, like black guys, were walking down the street, like rubbing their own heads, going, "I feel you, dog."
Yeah.
It was like that was pre-Randy Jackson, dog. So there was like a whole ton of attention. Like I'd go to bars and just anyway. So this was like the boner killer though. Was I'm sitting in the.
So
Krispy
you had a
Kreme.
boner?
No. Well, I was at Krispy Kreme, so I might have.
Okay.
And this guy just this like kind of degenerate, maybe homeless guy starts talking to me, and he's telling me how he just got kicked out of a Chi-Chi's restaurant that night for like causing a ruckus or whatever, and I'm trying to do like ignore him, like, oh man, that's too bad, and just talk to my friends, and then finally he's like, I like your head. I was like, no.
I must say though, it must be difficult to get kicked out of a restaurant with a ball pit.
I know.
Because don't they just they want people to be moving
Yes.
around and having a good time?
Yeah, this guy was clearly like he took his sad pity drinking party to the wrong place.
Yeah.
It was like it was a clash of context because this guy was all bitter, and like he said he mentioned like some kind of fight in the parking lot, and
Did he do it with the team that won the Little League Little League World Series?
Yeah,
and
the Chi-Chi
Dayton-
Scrappers.
Yeah,
were
like
there.
what?
Yeah, they were there. No, it was just sad, but the whole thing ended with the guy commenting on my head. At which point it was kind of like it was that check please moment.
Should be a boner maker.
That was not a boner maker. No.
Wait, so is the Chi-Chi's like a Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah, Chi-Chi's like a Mexican restaurant. Chuck
like
E.
a
Cheese.
round table. I'm thinking isn't it like kind of a round table
Yeah.
Mexican restaurant? Like it's kind of the same idea of like a Shakey's, I'd want to say.
Yeah, I think it's like a fun. If I
Where
remember
you can
correctly.
get fried chicken and pizza.
It's where you'd go it's where I'd imagine you'd go after like an AYSO soccer game or something like that.
Yeah.
It's, we're going to have the team party at a Chi-Chi's.
If I remember correctly, that's what it was. Because it was what I remember is it was a fun, good time place that he'd been kicked out
Yeah.
of. So
I had people identifying with me that probably shouldn't have been necessarily. Back when I was in college, I used to be a big fan of the show called The X-Files, and I used to wear this X-Files hat. And the X was really big on the hat.
right.
Okay, so
I was waiting. Joe's looking at Mike, and I'm like, he's not getting it yet. He's not getting it yet. Wait.
I got it.
all of a sudden I had like black guys coming up to me going like, "Nice hat, dude. Power to the people." And I didn't figure it out for a while, and I was just like, "Oh, cool. Power to the people." Yeah, they must be talking about Krychek and like how. But I didn't say anything.
I'm glad that Mike was even slower to get it than I was getting his story.
So I just say, "Hey, thanks, man. Thanks."
Yeah, the truth is out there, man. The truth is out there.
We didn't land on X-Files. X-Files landed on us, man. Yeah.
This happened like 10 times. Then I realized
It took 10 times?
Malcolm X.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden black guys were talking to you for the first time ever, and it took 10 times for Mike to realize that. That's pretty funny.
Well, I just thought maybe they were fans of the show, you know?
Boy, you know who loves the X-Files? Black folk. They love it.
Well, I was just like, hey, yeah, I mean, cool, you know?
Right. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I happened.
They didn't see, like, the files was so small, like they'd even be up and they didn't notice it. They just immediately saw X and thought.
They just thought it was like a knockoff from the hats that Spike Lee was trying to.
Yeah.
to
I learned
promote.
like all these new like cool handshakes that I'd never known before.
Or they thought like this guy's so down with Malcolm X, he has his files. You know what I mean? Like this guy researched a brother. That's what he researched a brother. Yeah.
I was invited to some of the coolest parties I've ever been to.
Right.
Any house parties.
Oh yeah,
Pajama jammy jams.
Nice. Black Panther parties. Good, Mike. Good.
yeah.
But you know, with the whole like small talk thing, it's like a lot of times, like especially like because you wait tables also, or it's like you'll go up to a table just to let them know that you're gonna be taking care of them and that you're the guy. Be like, hey, how's it going? No, we just sat down, and I'm like, I know. That's why I was letting you know that I'm your guy. And you know, if you want anything to drink, you don't have to tell me now. But I was, and like,
So people think you're hurrying them and rushing
Yeah.
them. Yeah. So
Well, because they want you. I remember like they want you to rush a lot of times. They're like, you want to seat as many people as possible. So there's this whole thing about the second they take a bite, you should get ready to drop that check. Because the quicker you drop the check, the quicker they want to get out. Then you can get turnover, get another table, give you more money. So it's like the whole idea is kind of rushed. And so people get this feeling when you're around them that you're like the warden out front of their cell. It's like, whoa, listen, I don't care what you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to give you some food.
Well, what I've noticed in customer service is sometimes the management makes you just go out of the way to make the customer feel good. And like I used to work at a little mom and pop music store, and I had started working there, and they were saying like the customer is always right. So I was like, okay. So I had, some guy like walk in, and it's an older guy, and he's like, hey, I'm trying to find this. We had a lot of sheet music at the place. I'm trying to find this song. And then he started singing it to me. And it was something from the 50s. And I'm like, sir, I don't know the song. Do you know the title or who it was by? And he's like, no, but it goes like this. And he was singing. And then
just look for these notes on a sheet.
Yeah, and it was something like, all pennies from heaven, blah blah blah. But it wasn't that song. I would have known that song.
It's a pretty recognizable song.
Yeah, exactly. It was something obscure, And then I'm like, sir, I'm sorry, I can't help you. And he's like, and then he kept singing.
It sounds like he just wanted to sing to you.
Yeah, and the manager came over. And he got mad at me because I couldn't figure it out. And then the thing that broke my back, or broke the camel's back. Yeah,
straw.
Not my back.
The straw that broke the camel's back.
Where I actually quit. We had a public restroom in the store, and they had this like mommy and me thing, like where the moms would bring their babies and they'd sing campfire songs to them and everything, like it was supposed to be helpful to the kids. And then something happened like in the bathroom one day, like one of my coworkers came out and he's like, someone puffed in the bathroom.
Puffed?
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean by puffed? And he's like, there's shit on the wall, there's shit everywhere.
Ugh.
And my manager came up, he's like, hey man, you're the low man on the totem pole.
Ew.
You got to clean it up.
Did you quit right there?
I quit right there.
You didn't go in the bathroom?
Nope.
Wow.
That's
When-
right.
when
I didn't want to
stand?
go clean up the shitstorm. I just walked out,
Way to take
went
a
across the
stand.
street to the theater and started working over there.
that day.
Mike walked out, picked up his briefcase, and set it back down in the theater. Yeah.
You just hit 3 chords there.
Yeah.
For me. One real quick. When I was 16, I used to work at a Baker Square as a host, and part of my job as being the host was I'd go into the bathroom like every like half hour, and just kind of like clean the mirror, dry off the counters if it was wet, and then just check and make sure that toilets were flushed and there was toilet paper. I went in, no joke. There was a poo that was sticking out of the water. It was above water. It was kind of like it looked like, if you ever seen the cover of the movie Krull.
That's a healthy shit.
Well, they have like a volcano, except it was a big spear, and it was just like I was in shock and amaze, and then like I pushed, I used my foot to flush it, and it stirred around, but didn't go anywhere.
like a straw in a glass.
It was like a self-stirring cauldron of doom, and I was like, I'm not gonna touch that. So then I go tell the manager who was eating at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna quit right now. And I told him, I was just like, there's something in the bathroom you should go see. He's like, what is it? You should go see it. And he's like, all right. So then he goes and he does the same thing. He flushes. He's like, man, that's not going nowhere, is it? And then I was just like, I know what you're going to ask me to do, and I'm going to quit right now. And he's just like, and like a champ, he just went, grabbed a newspaper and fished it out like a trout.
Yep.
And then threw it away. And then just like, all right.
Oh, he fished it out?
Yes. Yeah. He got it with his hands on a newspaper.
Wow.
But
so was it like an iceberg? Like 90% of it was beneath the water?
Yeah, it's like this guy was on a steady diet of cheese and cement.
Cement.
Yeah.
See, if that would have been any of us, we would have been calling our friends into the bathroom to show. It would have been like a small, like a group of people around it, like, and then the staff would have been like, "What are you guys looking at? Look what I did."
But the other thing is like, all right, Betsy was cute, right?
She was cute, yeah.
Okay,
I'd have given her a little leeway.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm just playing devil's advocate here. All right, on this point, she probably gets hit on a lot.
Yes.
So she might think that what you were saying could have been like a bad hitting on her. Like what side dishes do you recommend? Baked potato? Why don't I pick up a baked potato and then we go watch some Wire on DVD before I pump your bottom?
That could have been.
If only Ed, you could have been like Cyrano de Bergerac on the side,
Yeah, exactly.
feeding him lines.
What shall I say?
While he's at the checkout.
Right. What side dish do you desire, my lady? She said baked potato. I don't know what to say next.
Okay, because like
Yeah.
he's like, oh man, I don't want to hold up the line. I don't want to go pick up some more stuff.
That's really funny. Yeah, I you know what? If I would have been more in the moment, because it was one of those moments where I was so zoned out, I wasn't even thinking. But if I would have been more in the moment, I could have either number one called her out on it, or number two used it to hit on her. And I didn't do either of those things. I was just kind of like, I just kind of stood back and went like, you just lied to me. It's so weird. You just lied to me. Just a bizarre thing. But no, I think any grocery transaction that ends with pump your bottom is something that I'm moving towards in my life. So.
But I also not necessarily lie, but I also just say things just to get action moving. Like people be like, what's this? What's this? Okay, for the sake of this, what's this flank steak with feta cheese and spinach?
Right.
Ask me that.
Okay. So how do you like this flank steak?
What's this?
What is this flank steak with feta cheese and
Delicious.
Oh, okay. Oh, really good.
Well, that's an honest answer, though.
Well, a lot of times I've never even had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I know if it's popular.
What kind of wine should I have with that? I don't even know.
What do you like?
I like red wines.
Okay, take that one.
All right, Ed, I'd like to. How is this puffer fish? Now, I know it has to be prepared extremely carefully, otherwise.
Wait, where did that come from?
Well, I'm trying to improv.
Oh, you're having that moment right now.
Yeah, I'm having a moment.
I got you.
So Ed, say I'm a customer, right? And I'm like, this puffer fish, I want to try it, but I hear it's very dangerous. The chef has to prepare it extremely carefully, otherwise I could die in a moment. What do you think I should do?
We're here to feed you and make you have a good time. We're not here to hurt you. We wouldn't serve you anything that would put you in danger.
Well, that's a good answer. I think I'll have it.
Now, if people have died, I would be like,
people have died from the puffer fish.
You would say before you'd say no.
You know what? People have asked me about stuff that I'm not a fan of. So, ask for something.
How's the gnocchi here?
The cheeseburger's great.
Good move.
Well, yeah, that's a good move.
Actually, Mike, remember when we were at the Italian restaurant in Coronado, and I was trying to order some Italian dish, and the guy goes, "It is no good."
Some waiters are really honest.
He's like, you do not want it. The ingredients are shit.
which I think is cool. One of my ex-girlfriends, we were at a restaurant and she tried to order something, and then the waiter's like, you don't want that. And then she's like, okay, well, I'll have this, and he's like, you don't want that either. It was actually 2 times.
Yep.
But it was honest. And then she ordered something. He's like, that's good. And then she got it and she liked it. So
Don't you think that sometimes the waiters are just doing that to come off looking like a hero? Because you're not going to try it. So you're not going to know if it's bad. So maybe it was really good, but you think you give him a great tip because you think he's a great waiter.
Ed, is there any incentive for being a hero waiter?
Okay, not me, because I don't care. I just,
Right. You're dead inside for those 8 hours.
I'm dead inside, but I'm also like, I care about my fellow man within reason.
Yes, you do.
So sometimes, like, but I know that there's lots of career waiters that are just like sharks. So it's like, I'll have the mac and cheese, which is like maybe the cheapest thing on the menu. It's horrible. So, all right, and then I guess I'll get the more expensive thing.
Sure.
But I've also been saved by the honesty, because one time I was drunk. The rare occasion I was drunk.
What?
And I was
Wait, when did you start? No.
Drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Wait.
But no, I was at a Vons. And
Drunk?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was getting more booze.
Good for you. Good man. Good
Well,
man.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And like I was like, well, hungry. Yeah, because I turned.
I like how you growl when you're hungry.
became a beast.
Yeah.
Mountain man.
I can't open up this bottle of booze with my paws. Anyway, so I reach into the bin at the front of the Vons for some sushi. Obviously, I was drunk.
The sushi bin.
Yeah.
Never.
And
It
then
doesn't sound
I
good.
just grabbed it and I was like, rubble. and then
I'm surprised you didn't catch like a salmon out of the air and just eat that.
so I'm walking, and then the security guard with this nice African American fellow was all, "Man, get over here." And I was like, "What?" He's all, "Get over here." And I was like, "Oh man, like, am I getting in trouble?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Don't you realize that's been there for 3 days?"
Ooh.
Wow.
And I was like, I put it back, and I was
Nice.
like, "Thank you." And I was,
How do you reward a citizen who's been that kind? That guy did that for no other reason than the kindness out of his own heart. That's really cool.
I followed him around for a couple of weeks, watching everything that he put into his mouth, and I was like, "Don't do that. That's high cholesterol."
Man, I'm trying to eat a Pink's hot dog, man. Come on. I just want the hot dog. One good turn deserves another. Oh, man. Speaking of unsolicited comments, this doesn't have much to do with waiter or whatever, but it's like one of those public small talk moments that is in my personal Hall of Fame. Was I had this buddy in D.C., and we'll call him Fred. So Fred and I were at this bar in DuPont Circle, which is known as being a gay neighborhood, but we were not in a gay bar. Like, we were in like the meat market pickup chicks bar.
Kind of like the Barney's Beanery of
actually,
West Hollywood.
Yeah, not
heard
too
it put that way.
dissimilar.
Yeah.
So there you go. So it was a fun place to hang out. So anyway, so Fred was at the urinal, and the urinals were next to each other. There's a couple urinals next to each other, and Fred starts talking to the guy starts talking to my friend Fred, and the guy's like, "Hey, I live out in the suburbs. I don't come into the city too often." And Fred's like, "Oh, that's cool, man." And so it's like pee small talk. So it's urinal pee small talk. And so the guy's like, "Yeah, I like coming into the city though. It's a lot of fun." And Fred's like, "Yeah, man, cool, man. Have a good time." And then the guy goes, "Hey, you got nice legs." At the urinal. Now there's no escaping, because you can't break off a pee. Where are you gonna go?
Yeah.
So he kind of had to like pee it out. And this guy started talking about how, I'm a teacher, and I'm in the suburbs, and I kind of have this life where I come into the city and I'm this different guy, and blah blah blah. And then he kept on talking about how smooth and nice Fred's legs were, because he was wearing shorts and he could see his legs. So Fred came upstairs, and like it took him like half an hour to realize he was being hit on. Like he was just kind of like, the nicest guy was in the urinal. And I don't know why
come you
he's
guys
talking-
never talk about my legs?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck you
We're
guys.
like, you're in DuPont Circle, right? I mean, that's where this would happen in DC. That's where that conversation would take place. So again, much like Mike's brother Malcolm hat, it was one of those social grenade bombs that went off like half an hour.
What did Fred's hat say?
So I think.
Well,
Yeah.
Did he? No, he could either look at it as, I got hit on by a gay man,
Yeah.
or someone thinks I'm pretty.
Right.
That's the way I've always looked at it.
Yeah, he actually, that reminds me, I'll tell one more story about somebody else I knew. I had a college roommate who, his best friend was a really good looking, just a classically good looking, handsome guy. So my roommate and him would always hang out. They grew up in the same hometown together. And whenever they went to a bar, like in the city, like in Columbus, inevitably the good looking guy would get drinks bought for him by a gay guy, while my roommate would sit there all bummed out. Like he wasn't gay, but he was kind of like, nobody likes me. I'm not getting any attention. Just once, I just want a drink from a guy. So, and it happened so consistently that he got a little bit of a complex about it.
That's awesome.
Really?
Well, enough that we just joked about it. Not
Right.
like a serious complex.
Wow.
But, yeah. So you have to watch who you dish out your love to, I guess. I don't know why I'm on the gay thing all of a sudden. I had an improv class this afternoon, and there was just a ton of gay content, and now it's just all in my head. So keep me near the ladies tonight, guys, please. That'll be a big help. Also, let me see here.
Well,
Mike had a good point. Yeah, Mike.
I just think, the concept of this is like it's a small lie, right? She could have just said like, "Oh, that looks really good."
Yeah, this it's a lie that does not matter.
Yeah,
is what it is. There are lies that matter and lies that do not.
And I've
matter.
done some of those actually. You know,
both.
It's
just
stemming
the
from
not
childhood.
mattering
They're stemming from childhood. There were times where I'd be watching TV with my parents, and I'd fall asleep, and then my mom would wake me up and be like, "Oh, it's time for bed," and I'd be like, "No, I wasn't sleeping."
Right.
And I'd just be like, "No, I was watching the TV with my mind. I like to use my imagination." So I try to like make every excuse in the book so to prove that I wasn't sleeping.
You know what yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and because I didn't want to go to bed.
You know what that sound? It sounds like when we were at the Bebop and Heroin Hour a few weeks ago, and Doug fell asleep. But Doug said he wasn't asleep. Doug
Driesler, who was on our show before, he was the guy on the History Channel.
Yeah, so we were at the show at Westside Eclectic, and he has his arms folded, he's leaning back, his head's against the wall, he's sitting in a chair, his eyes are closed, and he's just kind of sort of moving his foot, and every like 3 minutes he just laughs. Kind of like I'm awake, and then right back to sleep. Now he claims he was
Joe
awake.
took pictures of him while.
But yeah, I think I have pictures on my cell phone actually. Hold on, somebody else carry the.
Well, I mean
camera.
that show was kind of like, the audience really was like they were on heroin. It was 2 hours, and it was just slow as hell. And by the time Joe and I got on, we headlined it, but there was like 5 people left, and it was like they all injected themselves with heroin. So it's like we had to raise this audience from the dead, And so I started singing "Nights in White Satin."
Of course.
And I think someone OD'd.
Yeah, we did this. Yeah, we did that show was that was a tough audience.
Well, the thing is, like saying I wasn't sleeping while you were watching a movie, acceptable lie. I wasn't sleeping while you're driving.
Right.
That's a shitty lie because your white lie is putting everyone's life
In
at
danger.
risk. Right. And I've done that lie to myself while driving.
Alone?
What?
Just driving alone?
Or I've been driving and then all of a sudden, I just realized, wait a minute, I snapped my neck just.
Wow. I'm awake.
Yeah.
I had an old buddy of mine, and he was in a band with me, and like we'd be driving
What was it
home
called?
late. What
was the band called?
Absolution. It was
Sounds like a 7th grade band.
No, it was like an early high school band.
9th
It was,
grade.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of progressive.
All right, what did your buddy do?
No, I want to. Can you sing?
You don't
want
wanna
to
hear about
songs?
No, I don't want to hear about your band.
Hold on.
that I've heard about.
If you came into my mom and pop music store and you wanted to buy some sheet music of an Absolution song,
How'd
what
that
would you
song-
sing?
how'd that song go?
I'll be you at the music store, and you be the old man who wants to buy the Absolution song.
I'm looking for this song. It's called, I don't know the name of it.
Of course you don't.
It's watching the vertical horizon, waiting for the sun.
Clay Aiken.
To go left.
Clay Aiken. That's aisle 12.
No, it's not Clay Aiken.
I work at a music
I
store.
don't
That is
think
Clay
you-
Aiken.
I don't
Sean,
think
show
you
him where
do.
the Clay Aiken section
thank
is.
you.
No,
Thank
it's
you. I'll
not
bring my
Clay Aiken.
manager,
I'm
Joe.
the
It is
manager
not
here.
Clay Aiken.
I'm the manager here.
All right, well, I'd like to talk to you, manager.
Sure.
That is not Clay Aiken. Your employee has just lied to me.
Sean, it's clearly Clay Aiken. Put him in the Clay Aiken section. Sir, you should know your own.
Sir, do you not
No
even
music.
know the cash register, for God's sake?
I don't think so.
And now the new single from Clay Aiken.
Definitely Clay Aiken.
I think it's Clay Aiken. Ha.
And
No, I would have left
scene.
the store.
You know, all
like,
this
no, but I
falling
was gonna
asleep
say.
thing.
I was gonna say, I used to trick my friend when I was driving at night. I would be driving and he'd be sitting next to me, and I'd be driving, and then I'd snap my head like I was falling
It's a
asleep.
real funny joke.
And then my friend's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. What's yeah, no, I'm fine." And then I'd wait like 10 minutes. And then I'd do it again. And you're like, "Dude, are you falling asleep?" And I'm like, "No, man. What are you talking about? No, I'm fine." And then I'd wait 15 minutes. I'd snap my neck again. He's like, "Okay, dude, pull over. I'm gonna drive."
What'd you do at 20 minutes?
I know. That was before improv. You had no way to heighten that joke.
I had no way to heighten it.
Now, is that your passive aggressive way to not drive?
No, I was fucking with him. I was like,
Exactly.
I don't think I've ever come really close to falling asleep.
Mike's idea of making
Ever.
something funnier is to do it more.
Mm-hmm.
just volume comedy, high volume comedy.
Well, yeah, of course.
Quit
They're
raping
stooges.
me.
It's gonna be funny. Oh man, I remember one time. This is the funniest image I've ever. I don't know why this is in my head, but I know why it's in my head. Mike and I went to a party down in Orange County one time. We were driving back at 4 a.m, and Mike and I was actually driving Mike's car because he was too drunk, and he had a Budweiser in his lap, and he had his head down, and he slept the whole way home. And I was like, if a cop pulled us over, I'd be like, shh, he's sleeping. Let him have his beer.
Illegal, yes.
Yeah.
But cute, yes.
Yes,
sir.
even more. Yeah, more.
like
I
how-
would say more cute than illegal.
I like how
That would be. It would be like an Ann Getty's mugshot.
well, that's discipline though. Falling asleep and holding a beer can and not spilling it. That's discipline.
I would have been worried, but it was
like a
your
giant
it was your
baby.
car, so I was like, "F it." I don't care. I was like, "Yeah, whatever happens." I wasn't thrilled about the open container. But,
I like how you're even concerned about swearing in the temple that is his car. You're all, F it.
F it. Very true. All right, guys, very good. We're gonna come upon that end portion of the show that we call the aftermath. There it is. All right, very good. This is the part of the show where we wrap things up. It was good talk today, guys. I thought everybody had really good stuff. We'll start where we always do with Mike, who is rocking himself to sleep right now. Or are you trying to lull us into a sense
stretching my
that you
back.
were okay?
Yeah.
It looked like you were about to nod off there for a second.
I did a lot of gardening work today. My back's bothering me a little bit.
Oh,
He is a farmer.
yeah.
I'm a farmer.
Farmer.
I was
He's got-
lifting mortar and bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike's Italian, he's a farmer, but I'm Latino and I'm a migrant worker.
It's true. My people were masons. Your people were like miscreants.
Yep.
I was thinking of hiring you, Ed, to do some work for me.
We met Ed at a outside of Home Depot where he was doing stand-up comedy, and we brought him to a show we were doing because we needed like 10 more minutes, and that's how we met Ed, which is very exciting. Anyway, okay, we'll go around the room. Mike, why don't you hit us with your aftermath first?
I think, yeah, it's kind of silly sometimes to like lie like for no reason, because I'll do it like when someone calls me on the phone and I don't know who they are, and they're like, "Hey, Mike," and I'll be like, and I don't know who the person is, so I'll just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I won't know who it is.
So you keep digging,
and I will
yourself
just
in.
keep talking to that person like I know them, but waiting to figure out who it is.
Have you ever not known who it was?
Yes. And like this one girl called me and I had no idea who it was, but I didn't want to seem rude. So I had an entire 20-minute conversation with her. And then she's like, "Okay, well, give me a call." And I'm like, sure, I'll give you a call.
That makes the next time you talk to her even double rude.
Two ways
I
out
never
of it.
heard from her.
Two ways out of it. One, with cell phones and everything, there's tons of bad connections. You can be, I'm sorry, I can't hear too well. Who is this?
My phone,
Yeah.
Ed, my phone. First of all, my phone is a war horse because it's had my phone is a war
Mike
horse.
still has. He's the last person in America with a landline.
That's
so.
right. Everyone else in the world knows this. That's why you can't pull that line.
Old war
Well,
horse.
no, it's a war horse because I've had this phone since 1999.
Yeah, you could tell.
And I've spilled beer on it. I've spilled water on it. Maybe a little brandy or vodka.
Carlos dropped it in the
And
toilet
a couple
that one
times, like it's gotten watery, like sounding, but then it dried itself out and it was fine. But it doesn't have
Fucking pre 9/11 craftsmanship.
It doesn't have caller
It
ID.
is.
So like when people call me on my landline, I don't know who's calling me.
Yep, they just don't,
But I
it's
like-
just tough.
I like
They
the
started
mystery.
using all that plastic post 9/11. They started using all that plastic to
I-
make that World Trade Center
They don't
monument.
make the steel phones like Mike has anymore.
Yeah.
I like the mystery of it though. Don't you guys ever miss like?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, the phone is ringing.
Nope.
I wonder who it is.
No, I like knowing.
It's a total
Because
complete surprise.
I screen
Because
all my
now we
calls.
have credit cards and we don't pay them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't miss I don't miss the old timey way of doing surgery. I don't miss. There's a lot of old things I don't miss that I think you do. Sanitation.
Yeah, bathrooms, outhouses. Yeah. I'm all for progress
you know,
too.
Those 70s
Yeah.
vasectomies were really
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh, the external vasectomies? When they did them externally? That was a bitch. Yeah, nobody liked that. Very good. Sean, did you have another one, or was that your...
No, I was actually gonna say I bumped into somebody recently that I hadn't seen since junior high school, so months. And no, I hadn't seen them for many a year, and I couldn't recognize the person for the life of me. And they're like, "Sean, dude, do you remember me? Like I did this, I did that," and kept on naming all these things. Lived on this street. Remember this? Remember that? And then finally, the kid went, I used to be the big fat kid. And it clicked at that moment.
That's what was
right
in your
with
head.
that term. And I went, oh, and I said his name. And then it all hit me that he had to tell me he was fat in order for me to know who he was. And I felt like such a dick. But it wasn't that he said he was fat. It was just the last one. Like it was playing Guess Who.
Yeah.
And I was dropping all the things. He doesn't have glasses. He doesn't do this, doesn't do that. And the last one was a fat kid and a skinny kid. He said fat. And I went, oh, it's that guy. But I seemed like such an asshole because I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, you're not fat anymore.
We are so wired for looks. It's like, I won the state championship in chess. I dated your sister. You know, I hit you with the car.
I am your sister.
I am your sister. I used to be a big blubbery whale.
Joe!
Oh, yeah.
But you feel like such a dick. And I didn't. And I probably, it was the fat thing that probably let me know it was him. But what I tell myself to
spoken
be
like
able
a
to wake
skinny
up,
jerk.
yeah, it's tough. You know,
Exactly.
it's a tough world out there.
All right, Sean learned a valuable lesson, and that's what this podcast is all about. Ed, any final words before we?
Everything's fine with moderation. Because all right,
sounds like a mic. It sounds like a mic tangent.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just saying, like, all right, just something that we can all relate to. We've all seen lots of comedy lately, right?
Yes.
Within the past few years, we've seen a ton of it. Some of it really great, some of it,
Horrible.
yeah.
Abominations.
But you know, there are people that you care about, or you know,
Absolutely.
or at least you like. Do you tell them it was horrible?
Good point. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's that moment where your friend walks off stage, and if they didn't have a great show, I always do the thing where I try to find the one thing I liked about it, and I'll just point out that thing. Like, I really like that joke that you made.
That is a very interesting point, and I always know when we had a good show and when we didn't, because when we had a good show, people are very, very like just like the words are coming out easy. When we don't have a good show, people are just like, hey man, and then they don't talk about the show.
I always point out how nice Kevin Ford looks. Like I always say, he's dressed really well.
Kevin Ford is from The Great
Dresses
Adventure.
for success.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
but you
Dress
can-
for the show you want to have, not the show you had.
You can always tell. You can always tell when you had a good show versus a bad show. I mean, you can feel it.
Well, absolutely. And Ed, you've walked off stage in the last 3 years probably more than any other comedian in LA. So you've probably heard your fair share of praise and maybe the occasional bullshit too from people. You know?
Yeah. You know what? And my favorite one, my favorite bad show receiving was we're doing your thing. It was good to see you doing your thing.
Doing your thing, man.
Were you
Do
wearing
your
an
thing.
X-Files cap?
Yes.
Yeah, brother Ed.
Yeah, there's that one, or the I got it. But if it's because I've been in like crap, and I've been whatever. Usually like. I'll be like, hey, let's go get a drink. Let me buy you a drink.
Yeah, you probably need a drink.
No, that's implying something. Hey, it's just, all right, cool. Like, where to now? Keep the spirits up.
Let's change the subject of your recent show. Yep. I can totally
Have you
see
lost weight? Is your hair growing back?
People should have. You know what? The crowd would have enjoyed it more if they listened to what you weren't saying. That's what the crowd was all unfocused. Is what happened. They didn't get it. So
It was a Valley audience. You did it for
the
the
Valley audience. Yes, I've played in front of a couple Valley audiences. Very good. And we should mention Ed. Try to keep this under 10 minutes. What are you up to these days? What should our people know about? We have listeners all over the country. We have people internationally. So people can go online and find you, or some of our California people can find you as well.
Bad Religion of Comedy, folks. Right here.
Okay, well, the main more important thing, if you're in town, this Wednesday at 6:30, I'll be doing my one-man show, Love Life Limb, at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. It's $5, 2 shows, a whole lot of me. It's fun.
And if it goes well, you might get a spot at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Which is a very, very hot.
It's a
theater
great
be
place
at
to be
right now.
performing.
And if it goes bad, I'll have such lines as, "It was good seeing you. Do your thing."
let's get a drink.
If you're out of town, you can see me on my web show Awesome Dude 30 on awesomedude30.blip.tv. Every Wednesday night at 9, I'm doing my show, the Ed Galvez Punk House at the Westside Eclectic. Or check myspace.com/Ed Galvez for when I'm coming to your town.
Yeah, and I just watched some awesome dudes the other day. So I watched your clone one, which is really funny. Which is like it looked like it was developed from a bit you did on stage, and you took it and you put it on the video.
Vice versa.
It was the other way around.
All the awesome dudes are not written. We kind of improvise it.
Excellent.
And then that was one where I was like, I have no material today. Hey, I did this.
So yeah, Ed talks to himself as a clone, and it's really good. So
Awesome.
that's the one I like. They're all good, but that one tickled me. So very very good. Ed, thank you for coming on.
No, thanks for having me.
We love having
Great
you.
to have Ed Galvez on always.
Oh yeah, well, Ed Galvez and Mike, Joe, and Sean are going to be saving the world from AIDS.
That's right.
That's right. This very night.
Yep. So we can't. We'll just tell people what we're doing, but we're doing a show at the Buddha Room in Koreatown tonight, and we're part of a lineup. We're doing an improv set, and we're going to help raise some money to fight AIDS.
We're actually headlining, which is
which is cool. So we
just sold out show.
Ed is in our group. Mike and I and Sean are in a couple of different improv groups, and we play in a group called Turtle Beer with Ed. So
which is a lot of fun.
Always good fun, good time. So I'm looking forward to that show, and Ed, we'll have you back on again. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to be had.
Well, thank you. Very good. All right, that's it for the second column. If you want to check out this week's column, if you haven't read it yet, go to joedonatelli.com, and we'll see you next week.
That's all for this episode of the second column. For more information, go to joedonatelli.com.